It should be intimidating to the entire Canadian public as well, because this is not a Jewish issue. Once they start with the Jews, it never ends there. They go after everybody else, just like the Nazis during the Holocaust. Made it very loud and clear, we're going after the Jews, we're going to wipe the Jews out, and everybody's just busy with their own lives. Yeah. But he murdered millions of others, too.
So you're refusing to leave?
I'm refusing to leave.
Why?
Because I'm a Jew, I'm a citizen, and I'm your boss. And I don't leave because you say Jews aren't
Well, you know
allowed on
what?
the street.
In the interest of keeping peace here and public safety, you're under arrest for breach of the peace. Take a minute.
Good.
Take this. I'm being arrested because I'm standing on the sidewalk in my city. I'm a Jew who lives in this neighborhood, and I'm being arrested because the police say that's the path of least resistance.
David Menzies for Rebel News here outside 32 Division in Toronto. And I'm with Meir Weinstein of Israel Now. Just about an hour and a half ago at the corner of Bathurst and Shepherd. Well, I think the police really disgraced themselves. I think we now have a police service being run by the worst police chief in Toronto history. And given that Billy Blair used to be the chief, that's saying something. Meir, you were there. You witnessed what happened to my boss, Ezra. First of all, I want to give you a proposition here. I think this is the Toronto Police Service being sore losers. And by that, Meir, just going to throw to a clip last Sunday. That's when Rebel News reporters from all across the country, even one up from Florida, we assembled. We were told by the police, if you cross the street, if you go to the Hamas territory, there will be mass arrests. Well, guess what? We did an I'm Spartacus moment, and we crossed en masse. And, the cops folded like a cheap lawn chair. No arrests. Check it out.
Killed today. Over 16,000.
The police say I'm not allowed to do journalism over here. The police say that I have to go to the free speech zone. The police say that I'm not allowed to ask questions after I've asked my first question. But the police are not my editor-in-chief. I'm my own person. I'm a Canadian. And fellas, I'm going to tell you what I told your boss on the other side. I'm going to stay 2 feet away from them. I'm not going to put the microphone any closer than this to them, so I'm not going to get anyone's grill. I'm not going to touch anyone. I'm not going to threaten anyone, but I am going to do journalism. And I would ask that if you arrest me, that you not commit violence on me, just simply touch me on the shoulder. No need for handcuffs or to throw me on the trunk of a car like you did to David last time. Any questions for me before I go in? No? I can give you a hat later on as a souvenir of this momentous day.
Down, down the terrorist state of Israel. Down, down the terrorist state of Israel. A Jew is not a Zionist is not a Jew. Zionism is no way it's supported, representing Judaism.
Hi, what's your name?
Sorry, I'm going to ask you to please move back. We have a lot of equipment here, so please can you just move back? Can you please move back?
That's assault. That's assault. That's assault.
No, it's not assault. You're in my space, my personal space. The stuff is here.
No, you came
You're
up.
coming into my space. I'm asking you to move back.
Who are you? What's your name?
So, Meir, we thought that was a victory lap. We had no plans on coming back to Bathurst and Shepherd because we proved our point. But we were told, get down there. There's a real shite show happening in terms of now Bylaw coming out to harass the pro-Israel demonstrators. And as I was saying earlier, I think part of this is the police being sore losers. We humiliated them last week. We exercised our rights as citizens and as journalists. And, they're not taking kindly to it.
No, they're not at all. You could call it two-tier policing, whatever the phrase is for how the police are. But the police, the bottom line is they're listening to the Hamas supporters.
Yep.
And they're even taking direction from them. The Hamas supporters complain to them and say, we don't want the rebel here. All of a sudden the police, with a lot of force, come to rebel reporters, today Israel Levant, arrest them, harass them, push them around, put them in cuffs, force them into a car, and try to intimidate people not to film what's going on there. It's unbelievable. I was there. I filmed it all.
Thank goodness for that. And folks, what Meir is saying, it's not conjecture. 2 weeks ago, when I was being held in a cell here for a couple of hours, when I was released, who should be coming into 32 Division as I'm leaving but Anus? Anus is one of the pro-Hamas organizers. And well, here, check out our little interaction. Ezra, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we have one of the ringleaders
Contact your lawyers again
yes,
for committing another unnecessary obstruction of police and attacking our people again.
No,
unnecessarily.
you're wrong. I didn't attack anyone.
Yes, you did. You came in and the police told you.
No, I was trying to talk to the Jewish demonstrators on your side.
Yeah, but
sir.
they didn't want to talk to
tell
you.
me.
You don't want
no.
to talk to a racist like you. You don't want to talk to someone who's racist like you.
Why are you
Because
here?
you all know.
Are you turning yourself in for chanting genocide?
Oh, we don't chant genocide.
Oh,
You're
yes,
supposed
you
to commit
do.
genocide.
From
Decide that you
Milan to
wanted
the
to commit
sea,
genocide. Decide that you
Intifada,
didn't
go
commit
back to
genocide.
Europe.
Yeah, that's
By the
called
way,
resistance.
folks, this is one of the
That's called
ringleaders who has the ear of the cops. Look at that. That's Justin Trudeau's Canada. So, Meir, the only reason I could think of for that odious individual to show up was to turn himself in for violating Section 319 of the Criminal Code of Canada, i.e. chanting genocide. But no, he was in there for a long time. We had other assignments to get to. What do you think he was doing there? Did he have a complaint list of pro-Israel supporters? Was he laying out the game plan for the cops for the following week? This is baffling.
We have people at Bathurst and Shepherd, the Hamas crowd, that are calling for the genocide of Jews. They're very clear about that.
Yeah.
They come with their emblems, the red triangle, their chants, their slogans, their signs. They even had people dressing up as Yahya Sinwar today. And the police are not enforcing the law at all. There needs to be changes with the police department fast, or people are just going to lose their patience. I don't know what society is going to bring about, but there are so many people that are at the end of the rope right now.
You know, that's a great point. I think when when citizens lose faith in the police, when they realize that the police will not protect them, and let's face it, if you're openly Jewish in Toronto, can't believe I'm saying that, you are an open target these days. I think that breeds vigilantism. I think that means people take the law into their own hands, not for revenge or vengeance, just for protection. Are you worried about that happening now?
I'm completely worried about that. You know, there was a case just over the weekend in the United States, Memphis, Tennessee, an Israeli locksmith. He gets a call Saturday night to go do a service call, and he was murdered because he's Israeli. That could happen here as well. There's absolutely no question about it. And what are the police doing? What are the police doing? They're not doing much. I'm considering having a protest this week at the police station. Me? I've gotten along with police for years and years and years. It's unfathomable to me to even think about picketing a police station, but the way things are going right now, I'm having conversations with people about that right now.
Meir, that is a horrible story about what happened in Memphis. I'm just hearing it now. I think we are already there. I think it's only a matter of time, unfortunately, before it's beyond violence and vandalism and an actual murder occurs. And, you know, why wouldn't the pro-Hamas people feel that way? Every week they get more and more emboldened. Naturally, they're going to push the envelope, aren't they?
Absolutely. There's no question about it. We had the case already in Ottawa that there were some arrests of people who were plotting assassinations. This is going on in Canada. It's not the Canada that we know. I was born and raised in Canada. Never would ever, the thought would never occur to me that Canada would descend in this way.
You know, Meir, as I said just prior to my arrest exactly 2 weeks ago, I pointed to the poppy on my lapel to the police officer, and I said to him, my grandfather spent more than 5 years of his life fighting the Nazis in the Second World War. And I'll be damned, pardon my French, if I'm going to bend the knee to the Islamo-Nazis. And, you know, Meir, as incredible as this may sound, I think the Islamo-Nazis are actually worse than Nazi classic. And by that I mean, if we look at the Holocaust engineered by the Nazis, they denied it was going on. It was covered up. The death camps weren't even in Germany. It was outsourced. These guys go to social media and post videos of tortures, rapes, and what have you. What are your thoughts?
They're proud of it, 100%, and they take it to a completely different level. You're 100% right. There's no question about it. They want to wipe out anyone who does not support the Iranian regime. That's how they are.
Unbelievable. And Meir, as for today, the truth of the matter is we had like 3 assignments. We had to go downtown. Our day's gone off the rails. We weren't even going to come here to Bathurst and Shepherd, because we thought that was a victory last week. We defied the police, if you can call crossing the street an act of defiance. Right. And my advice, let's take the W, guys, and hit the showers. There's nothing more to cover. But then I got a frantic call just around noon that Bylaw had come into the picture. You were there. What was Bylaw doing where?
The Bylaw was warning the organizers of the support rally for Israel for the hostages, cautioning them that they might shut them down.
Based on what?
A complaint from the Hamas supporters.
What? A complaint on what? Noise?
The Hamas supporters are claiming that the supporters of Israel are disturbing the peace.
And look what we saw in Montreal earlier this weekend, Mayor. Yes. Montreal was burning as Prime Minister Trudeau was shaking his booty at a Taylor Swift concert.
And the Hamas supporters in Montreal were burning effigies of Jews as well, and calling for a final solution.
Although if you follow the CBC reporting, they burned a mannequin. Can you believe it?
Oh, just a mannequin. Yeah. It had no symbolism at all. That's how pathetic the CBC is.
It is incredible. And we've talked about this before, Mayor. In my heart of hearts, we have to think of what the unspoken strategy is. I don't for a second think this is a grassroots initiative by the police, that they're all anti-Israel, pro-Hamas. I think they're being directed is at Mayor Chow. We know where she stands when it comes to Jews in Israel. She can't even be bothered to show up for the 1-year anniversary of the vigil and then lies about the reasons. We know Prime Minister Trudeau earlier this year had a meeting with Chief Demkiw. Why? The chief's not answerable to the Prime Minister. What I think, and I admit I have no proof of this, but my thoughts are Trudeau's done the math. There's 5 times as many Muslims as there are Jews in Canada. And I'm going to say right now, I'm not painting every Muslim with the same brush. Not all Muslims believe in the garbage, what that's going on at Bathurst and Shepherd every Sunday now. But I think Trudeau has done the electoral math and has decided, I got an election in less than a year. And you know what, Chief? Turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to the genocidal rants. And meanwhile, if there's peaceful counter demonstrators, if there's members of the non-state funded controlled mainstream media asking impolite questions, throw the book at them. What do you think?
Well, that's going on. Hamas is listed by the government of Canada as a terrorist organization. I haven't seen one Islamic organization condemn Hamas. I haven't seen one. Unfortunately, I'd like to see one. I'd like to see a mosque come out and condemn Hamas, but they don't. And what happens in the Islamic community, there's many, and they're coming out to the Jewish community, and they're spreading anti-Semitism, they're spreading the ideology of Hamas, and it's intimidating to the Jewish community. It should be intimidating to the entire Canadian public as well, because this is not a Jewish issue. Once they start with the Jews, it never ends there. They go after everybody else, just like the Nazis during the Holocaust. Made it very loud and clear, we're going after the Jews, we're going to wipe the Jews out, and everybody's just busy with their own lives. Yeah. But he murdered millions of others too.
As I've always said, Meir, first it's the Jew, then it's you.
Yes.
That is what we're dealing with here. The funny thing is, in the Department of Perverse Irony, if Trudeau thinks he's currying favor with this demographic, He needs to give his head a shake. Just last week, we were at a Justin Trudeau fundraiser in Mississauga, and the pro-Hamas people were there, and they had signs, and they were chanting, "Genocide Justin." So the guy he's trying to curry favor from, they're not buying it. I guess the Liberals aren't going far enough. I don't know what they want us to do, send the snowbirds over Tel Aviv to bomb the city, but that is what I found so incredibly perversely ironic, that he's pursuing a strategy that these ingrates aren't buying into.
Hamas supporters are also burning Canadian flags. They're calling for the destruction of Canada as well. It's all out there. There's no apologies or anything. That's what's going on. That's the reality. And Justin Trudeau is turning a complete blind eye. I used to think that when he got in, he said his policy is going to be, the rhetoric won't be the same as Stephen Harper, but it will be, but the policy will be exactly the same. Not at all. His policy is completely in reverse, and he has joined the anti-Semites. I feel really bad saying that about the Prime Minister of Canada, that he has become an anti-Semite, but he is.
But what else are we to believe? He said that if Benjamin Netanyahu came to Canada, they'll uphold the mandate of the International Court and arrest him. Yeah. And to me, that statement is further emboldening Jew hatred.
That's how it's going in Canada. Hopefully, with the election of Donald Trump, and he'll be sworn in very soon, that there will be some significant changes in Canada. We're hoping for that.
One last thing, of course, the reason why we're standing outside 32 Division, my boss, my beloved friend, Ezra Levant, I would argue Canada's #1 freedom fighter, a mantle he has held for decades now, brutally arrested and thrown in a police cruiser and taken here. Your thoughts, Meir?
I stand with Ezra, and the Jewish community should too.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. And I would argue beyond the Jewish community, as I said with Meir, first it's the Jew, then it's you. This is a disgrace. We are waiting for the release of Ezra. I've been in his shoes, literally, in this very same police division exactly 2 weeks ago. I'd like to say misery loves company. It's not true. And going by my experience, they're waiting for the entire intersection down the road, that's Bathurst and Shepherd, to clear out. Then it will be deemed safe enough to release Ezra Levant into the general public, just as it was deemed safe enough to release David Menzies into the general public. Can you believe this? This is Banana Republic garbage. I'll take that back. We can't grow bananas in Canada. Let's call it a maple syrup republic. It starts at the top. This is blackface is doing. This is Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that is pulling the strings. If we had a chief with any backbone, this wouldn't be tolerated. Clearly, DemQ is more politician and less police chief. It's a disgrace. We're going to stay here until Ezra finally gets out. We're missing other assignments happening in Toronto. Doesn't matter. This is the #1 story right now, and we're not going to let Ezra down. We're not going to let Ezra stand alone. You're looking at Canada's foremost freedom fighter. That's a title my boss Ezra has had for decades now. And by the way, that springs to mind another question, doesn't it? Where is the Canadian Association of Journalists? Where is PEN Canada? Where is the mainstream media standing in solidarity? Nope, they're sitting this one out. As Ezra said, Macduff, we're going to get to know you intimately. So in the meantime, this is going to take a lot of money, folks, and it's going to take a lot of time. Please go to our website, saveezra.com, sign the petition, make a donation. And by the way, even if you have no time for Ezra Levant, even if you hate David Menzies, even if you don't subscribe to Rebel News, there's a bigger thing at play here. This is the free speech and free expression rights for everybody, because first they come for selected targets, then they come for you. Folks, we all have skin in this game. SaveEzra.com.